From the studios of the Department of Communication in Phillipsburg, welcome to Next Level Thinking. Here are your hosts, Team APAP. Say Martin.
Hello and welcome to Next Level Thinking with your psychologist from APAP SXM. My name is Stephanie Hassett and I'm here together with Caroline van Oost and Sanne Gruiters. This program has been made possible by the Ministry of Public Health and DCOM. This program highlights topics that deal with the subject that matters most, ourselves. So last episode we discussed mindfulness, a mindset that can help you be more in the present, enjoy the smaller things in life. Now, this week we want to discuss happiness, right? The topic of this episode. What is happiness? What are we all achieving, trying to achieve this ultimate goal of happiness? We all know the feeling.
It's a good feeling, right?
It's a good feeling, exactly. It's a good feeling to just be happy. But what is it? How can we put it in words? What is happiness?
Oh yeah, that feeling that comes over you when, life is good and you can't help but smile. Just have that smile on your face. The thing we all want in life, the ultimate goal, happiness.
Right. So that's when everything and all is well. There's no troubles, no worries, no stress in the world.
Only laughing.
Only joy.
Yeah, and that's what we often, when we ask people, what do you want in life? Then people say, I want to be happy. It's the opposite of sadness. But yeah, what is it really? Is it indeed then all is good and all is well and all the birds are singing, and the
like a Disney movie?
The Disney movie in life, is that happiness? Does that exist?
Does it exist?
Is it something that happens around you? So your environment needs to be perfect. Another word that I...
Perfect. Yeah, that's an interesting discussion as well. Yeah. So happiness.
It sets high expectations, but happiness, is it around you? You have the perfect job, your life, your kids, health, or is it something that is
within
internally state of mind? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I think if you would ask different people, they would give you different answers.
Let's say what the dictionary says.
Let's check that. Dictionary say?
The Oxford English Dictionary definition of happiness says the state of being happy.
That's it?
I feel we're still at the same point.
Okay.
So, then you go further on, you check what is it then? It's the feeling or showing pleasure or contentment.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it tell us? Yeah, not much, but it's more about, it's a state. It's not a trait. In other words, it isn't a long-lasting permanent feature or trait or personality, but more like a feeling, a changeable status. We talked a bit about mindsets, mind shifts with mindfulness last time. Happiness can also be seen sometimes as a shift, but then in an emotional level. So it is a moment of pleasure that you experience or fun or something good.
So then is it something that you can achieve? Like, okay, I achieved this goal to be happy and then that's it. I'm happy the rest of my life. It doesn't.
No, exactly, because it's not permanent. So you feel happy at that moment when you experience that. So it's a moment, a state, a moment that you feel a good feeling. And that can be happiness. Something different than joy or bliss or other more intense feeling. It's more, the happy is the average part. And then you have some extreme parts that's more like the bliss or the complete thrill that you can experience. But it is a temporary thing.
Right. And I guess it also varies, right? You can be a little bit happy. You can be very happy. You can be extremely happy. And is it something that you're only happy? Or are there other emotions that can accompany happiness? Can you be happy and sad at the same time?
I think you can.
Right.
Yeah. True.
So that it's this state. And what influences this state? What influences the state of being happy, of feeling happy? Where does it come from?
That's a good one. Well, can we measure happiness?
I don't think so.
Well, I know that nowadays, more and more within the psychology, there's a focus on that. Before, we were more focused on problems and, what is then wrong and sadness and anger. If you talk about emotions, those are most of the time the opposite ones of happiness. And we have 4 basic emotions as human beings, right? That's sadness, anger, anxiety, and happy. And then you got a lot of different nuances from those basic emotions. And happiness is then one of the basic emotions. But like you said, Stephanie, before, you can have a variety. within the happiness range.
Right.
So you can have like, oh, I feel good today. I feel like extremely happy. I feel...
So it's not an on-off switch. It's not happy, not happy.
No, it's a certain degree of that feeling, indeed.
Right.
And it's something that can be, like what you said before, Sanne, internal or external that you experience. You can feel happy from within, but also it is something else from your environment that gives you the happy feeling. For example, the smile of somebody or that friendly nod or...
And you know, the funny thing is, I think, because earlier I said, I think if you ask people, they would give you different answers. But to me, people do say that happiness is something that has to come from within. Everyone, you often hear it. We do want to measure our happiness based on our external items that we have. If we have luxury, if we can travel places, if we have certain freedoms. But on the other hand, you often hear people say you can have all those things.
The pleasure part.
Exactly.
But the contentment is also about,
feeling good about yourself, feeling good within yourself, happy within yourself.
Yeah, so it's a combination of the internal and the external experience, I would say. But indeed, true happiness, that is the internal feeling for me. But if you look at, can you measure it? That is something you can see it with other people. You can see sometimes some people, if they feel good, yes or no. They show that in their nonverbal behavior. But not always, right? Because don't let yourself be fooled by sometimes that smile that is on that person's face who might be from inside feeling really depressed. We know some of those examples of people who were depressed and people were like later on never knew about it until it was too late. So don't be fooled by the smile sometimes. But that is something that we link to feeling happy. So if you see somebody smiling, you think that person is happy.
Right. So we look at how does a person present themselves? What is their body language? Are they open? Do they stand tall? Do they stand strong and happy? Or I guess those little things, the confidence that you see, the smile on the face, maybe the eyes, how they're looking, what they're saying. So all these things we think, okay, that must be a very happy person if we encounter them.
Yeah, it can be an expression of happiness. But in that sense, we learned over the years quite a few things. It's not only by the nonverbal signs anymore that we measure it, but also by the inside parts. The hormones. We can measure the hormones. And there are actually hormones and neurotransmitters, chemicals in the brain that causes that happiness feeling within us.
Which are those?
Well, that's a quartet. You have the dopamine, the serotonin, oxytocin. That's a difficult word for me. Thank you, Stephanie. And yeah, those chemicals, they help you to, or they create that happy feeling in your brain.
And we all have those chemicals inside.
Yeah, it gets released in the brain and then gives you that happy feeling. And it can be triggered by events, but we also can make them flow ourselves. So that's good to know.
Right, because we don't all have them equally. Not everyone has the same amount or the same level of these four neurotransmitters of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, or endorphins. Everyone has a different chemical balance that we're made up of. So everyone needs there's a variety in what we need to experience happiness through these hormones.
Yeah, but like dopamine kind of motivates us to take action. You need that hormone to do things.
So that's our activator.
Exactly. It's kind of like the activator. And also, if you want to increase it, then physical activity has a great influence on that. And serotonin is there when you feel something is important or significant. And when you have low serotonin levels, then you feel more depressed. And oxytocin, the difficult one, that is the hug hormone, the hugging hormone, the cuddle hormone, yeah. So, but that's also something that is like a social glue between people because did you know with that higher level of hormone, people tend to be more loyal to others. There's less cheating, for example. You also see that with animals when they have a higher level of that. And also with breastfeeding or childbirth, it plays an important factor. And even one of the professors says you need 8 hugs a day to increase that level of that hormone to feel good.
Okay. So
that's a good physical activity for the day just to be happy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just gives some people some hugs.
Did you ever hear about that guy who gave the random hugs, who like hugs for free?
Yeah.
He was just boosting that level of...
Exactly. So during the next segment, we'll discuss a little bit more about how to create that happiness state. How can we get there for ourselves? So stay tuned to Government Radio 107.9.
Next Level Thinking.
Coronavirus is most likely to spread from person to person when we come into close contact with one another. We can all help stop the spread by keeping our distance. This means do not shake hands or exchange physical greetings, and wherever possible, stay at least 1.5 to 2 meters away from others. It's also really important to practice good hygiene, especially after being in public places. Together we can help stop the spread and stay healthy. Visit stmartingov.org/coronavirus or call 914 to learn more. This public service announcement is brought to you by the government of St. Martin. Think tsunamis only happen somewhere else? Think again. They've happened in the Caribbean and will happen again. Plan to act. If you are near the coast and feel the ground shaking severely, see an abnormal withdrawal of water, or hear an unusual roar, take action and quickly run to high ground. This message is brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
I am Shanisha Robinson, your reigning teen queen, with this message. More than 80% of our economy is dependent on tourism. Our beaches are severely under threat by massive plastic pollution. We cannot continue to destroy our beaches as our livelihoods depend on it. The next time you visit a beach, please take your trash with you or put it in the bin. Keep it clean, keep it blue. This message is brought to you by the St. Martin Tourism Bureau and the Department of Communication.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Mr. Mara, it's me, Earthquake, coming in Tuesday around 10. No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it comes, it'll shake all the sense and the sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts and you know it's an earthquake, make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the doorway or any exit, and the stairs that may be broke up or even full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and then poof, power gone, and you're stuck in a box without air. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls in an earthquake, that is bad news. Take care of yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drops and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't bother run outside and ask, "You feel it? You feel it?" Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Sedima and the government of St. Martin.
Hi, I'm Dominique Fleming and I'm a communications major at Han University in the Netherlands. I chose this field to learn how I can effectively communicate to make a difference. Sharing relevant information and raising awareness about important topics like single-use plastic is one way I can make an impact. Approximately 8 tons of plastic end up in our oceans every year, ultimately killing or affecting marine wildlife. Do your part by reducing your plastic use today so St. Martin can be plastic-free by 2023.
Tired of having to search through written job applications? Is it costing your company too much to find suitable talent? JobOpportunity.sx makes paper applications a thing of the past. Find all of your recruitment needs in one place with live email updates, accessible from anywhere in the world, and it's free. Creating your profile is fast and easy. JobOpportunity.sx. Call 520-5279 for more info and take your business recruiting methods to the next level.
It's hard to make big changes in life. The energy, time, and commitment are often too great. That's why many men in our community struggle with their health. The Department of Collective Prevention Services is encouraging all men in our community to take the positive step and get checked. Schedule your annual medical screening, practice a healthy lifestyle by eating healthy, exercise regularly, and practice safe sex consistently. This message is brought to you by Collective Prevention Services, a department of the Ministry of Health.
I was deceived about the nature of my job. I was abducted and sold. All my documents were confiscated and money was withheld from me. I was isolated and confined to one area. I was forced into prostitution. I was forced to lie to authorities and my family. Now that you know, what will you do?
You can help by calling the National Reporting Bureau on Human Trafficking at 542-1553 or send email to naticotip@gmail.com. Human trafficking and exploitation please report it. Do you have plans to travel for medical purposes or for a family vacation? Don't let an expired passport ruin your plans. Ensure that your passport is valid at all times. Schedule an appointment today to renew your identification documents by going online to appointments.stmartingov.org/services or call 542-0652. Remember, your identity is your responsibility. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Civil Registry Department.
Hi, my name is Ayana Durin and I attend the St. Martin Academy High School. This month we learn about single-use plastic and how it negatively affects our environment. Did you know that human beings consume about 250 grams of plastic per year? To learn more about single-use plastic and how you can do your part, contact the Department of Interior and Kingdom Relations via Facebook. Let's all help reduce, reuse, and recycle so St. Martin can be plastic-free by 2023.
Hi, what's up, St. Martin? My name is Rene Leverett, and I play baseball. And I've represented St. Martin in numerous international tournaments and professionally around the world. Sports matters to me because it reveals and develops character. So I challenge the business community to step up for sports and help us rebuild and repair our facilities. I also ask the community to nominate local businesses in your area to take the challenge and step up for sports. Because #sports matters, #are you in?
When disaster strikes, it affects all of us.
Yeah, girl. Tell Desan to come and see me. I'll put her name at the top of the list.
You need to know that as a citizen, your rights are always protected.
I just need help.
Here, fill those out.
I have filled out this form 3 times already. I need help. This is just a waste of time.
If you feel your rights have been violated or have a legitimate complaint against any government body, even in these troubling times, we are here to listen to and act upon your concerns. The Ombudsman will use all of its resources to seek a fair resolution, keeping the government fully accountable. The Ombudsman, protecting your rights. Brought to you by the International Ombudsman Institute.
You are listening to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9.
Welcome back, listeners. Before the break, we discussed happiness and what it is exactly. So there's various ideas of what happiness is. We have our own ideas of what happiness is. The Oxford Dictionary has a concept of what happiness is. But there's also this biological part to the story where there is our bodies have a certain chemical makeup in which we need certain hormones to create or decrease our happiness. Now, in this segment, we'll talk a little bit more about the idea of creating happiness. Over the last years, there has been a movement going on where people tend to take ownership of their happiness and say, you got to look at the positive things. Well, the last episode, we also discussed about happiness, and I think we can safely say that it's not necessarily talking about the positive, right? We're coming back because does it really work to just see the glass half empty, half full instead?
Yeah, if only it was that easy, then you can just start thinking differently and then you're happy.
Right.
Okay, done. Right. No, it's not that easy. And also it's good to realize that the biological part has a big influence on it as well. I think you mentioned that in the first segment, Stephanie, that we talked about the chemicals, but also that people have certain levels that may differ from one person to another person. Sometimes, you can say it's kind of rooted in your DNA. They even say we have a happiness set point in a way. So you're born with a certain degree of happiness.
Okay, so some people are just happier than
others.
Born happy.
Born happy. Yeah, happy feet. Makes me think of Happy Feet. I'm sorry, that just came up. Just always had to move and dance. But I can imagine, I mean, not all the penguins were like that, but Happy Feet had happy feet.
He had happy feet.
Exactly.
He was born with that level of happiness.
Right. So that counts for us as humans as well. Not everyone has that same level of happiness initially. We don't start off at the same baseline.
No.
But you can, I mean, improve it. You can
of course. It
get
doesn't
more happiness along the way.
Yeah, it doesn't define you completely. They say it's about it determines for about 50% of what kind of level you're born with. That it doesn't mean that defines it. Of course,
can
you
it
can
decrease as well?
Decrease over time, you mean?
Yeah, the happiness. So you start with the 50% of happiness, and then life starts. Going through difficult life events, could that affect your level of happiness?
Yeah, then you're talking more about the environmental aspect. So, but we know that stress, for example, has an influence on our DNA. So DNA, what you're born with, the genes, the cells in your body, can be affected by stress and can change even. So epigenetics that is that part, and then we can have situation or events change our DNA.
So stress actually changes our DNA makeup. So it changes the traits that we're born with.
Yeah.
And if I'm understanding correctly, so as San is saying, then even though we're born with a baseline of 50% happiness, because stress has such a big impact during our lives, it can decrease that level, that baseline, to lower.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, like some people who went through traumatic events, sometimes you even see that generations later, still a certain sensitivity to, for example, some kind of sounds or some kind of feeling or something, that they're more easily scared by something or experience a higher range of stress. And that's because they're more sensitive. Their genes are more wired to be sensitive to danger. Because, for example, the grandmother experienced something. You see it sometimes generations on the certain stress levels.
Right.
And you can also translate that to happiness.
Right. But it can also be the other way around, I guess. If you're born with that 50% of happiness and you occur challenges in life because you already have that baseline, you can cope a little bit better. You're better able to see, I guess, that glass half full already.
Yeah, you have to see it like this: the tools that you're born with, and those tools can be affected by life in a positive and negative way. So you can strengthen the tools, or you can weaken the tools.
Right.
And so it's also about what you do with it.
And what you learn to do with it, because I think there you have the environmental influence as well, in how you grow up, and what your parents teach you, and how to deal with situations. Developing your coping skills, that will have an effect on your happiness as well.
Yeah, if you look at the other 50% in that sense, they say 10% of that is something you have no influence on, the events that are happening in your life. And then 40% is about the goal things or the things that you do, the goal-oriented actions.
So we do have certain control over how happy we are or are not in our lives.
And that is something that research also told us, that those goal-oriented actions, that gives you a feeling of being in control in life, right? You have your goals set in life, you want to achieve things. If you go for that can make you feel happy as well.
Yeah, exactly. That can give you also happiness more, but also don't think about that negative life events or when something happens to you that will immediately decrease your happiness. Yeah, that might for the beginning, you might be in shock. It might be difficult to cope. But then later on, you might sometimes even grow from it. And you can say that's post-traumatic growth. But sometimes some researchers even say we kind of need the downfalls to get to the high parts of life. So we are human beings are surprisingly resilient in a way. We kind of sometimes need also the difficult parts to be able to learn from it and actually reach higher levels in life.
And I guess if we wouldn't know what the downfalls are, how could we measure happiness if we don't have an opposite to it? Then, what would it be?
Yeah, you need some discomfort every now and then also to know what happiness is indeed. Because if you're all the time happy, then that's not the happiness really anymore, because that's just a permanent state. And then you're not talking about the true happiness.
So then we're in neutral again.
Then you're neutral. Then it becomes neutral. Yeah.
Right. So we can control our happiness by doing certain things. We discussed oxytocin in the previous segment, which is
you can start giving hugs.
You can start giving hugs. Okay, receiving hugs, I guess, is a good one as well.
Receiving hugs, it's about that physical contact moment. Yeah,
it actually has an effect on your immune system
as well. Okay,
yeah,
that's true.
Awesome. So you get a boost from hugging.
Yeah.
I think this is a very controversial point because I think a lot of our listeners are like, well, I don't know if I hug that person and they have a cold or a flu, that would really boost my my immune system. But I guess just the hugging, the feeling of happiness makes you less susceptible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but also being happy can boost your health.
Right.
And that's on your immune system, because we know that depression and stress is linked to, negatively impacting your immune system, and happiness is positively linked to feeling also better. So happiness is important for your quality of life. But indeed, also the cold, the hugging, but also feeling happy. When you feel happy, you're less inclined to develop a cold. Interesting, huh?
So hug before you get the cold.
Hug before you get the cold. Yeah, don't hug a person who has the cold.
Don't hug while you have the cold, because then it defeats the purpose. Got it.
It's more the preventive part of it. It's not the medicine. No.
Right. So in that sense, it does really matter what you do concerning happiness, right? There's certain things that you do have a certain control about your happiness in life and how you feel. And it's not just about feeling happy and all these happy things and good things happening to you. It's also about realizing that there's going to be downfalls, and those can strengthen you at times, and those can actually increase your happiness over time. Interesting. As we mentioned, happiness is kind of a state. It's a moment and it changes, it fluctuates, and that's a good thing. Now, more about happiness in the following segment. Stay tuned at Government Radio 107.9.
You are listening to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9.
Coronavirus is most likely to spread from person to person when we come into close contact with one another. We can all help stop the spread by keeping our distance. This means do not shake hands or exchange physical greetings, and wherever possible, stay at least 1.5 to 2 meters away from others. It's also really important to practice good hygiene, especially after being in public places. Together we can help stop the spread and stay healthy. Visit stmartingov.org/coronavirus or call 914 to learn more. This public service announcement is brought to you by the government of St. Martin. Think tsunamis only happen somewhere else? Think again. They've happened in the Caribbean and will happen again. Plan to act. If you are near the coast and feel the ground shaking severely, see an abnormal withdrawal of water, or hear an unusual roar, take action and quickly run to high ground. This message is brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
I am Shanisha Robinson, your reigning teen queen, with this message. More than 80% of our economy is dependent on tourism. Our beaches are severely under threat by massive plastic pollution. We cannot continue to destroy our beaches as our livelihoods depend on it. The next time you visit a beach, please take your trash with you or put it in the bin. Keep it clean, keep it blue. This message is brought to you by the St. Martin Tourism Bureau and the Department of Communication.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Mr. Mara, it's me. Earthquake coming in Tuesday around 10. No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it comes, it'll shake all the sense and the sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking start and you know it's an earthquake, make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the doorway or any exit, and the stairs that may be broke up or even full of people. Elevator, avoid that because you might get in and then poof, power gone, and you're stuck in a box without air. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls in an earthquake, that is bad news. Take care of yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drops and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't bother run outside and ask, "You feel it? You feel it?" Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Sedema and the government of St. Martin.